Thank you guys. I'm so excited to be here. When Charlie said we were speaking to a room full of conservatives in California, I was a little nervous. I thought it was a setup. I thought it was a trap. I had no idea you guys existed. But in the but in the same vein, I guess you can say that nobody knew that a black conservative existed. Which is pretty remarkable, right? It's pretty remarkable. It's remarkable when you consider that I'm considered to be an anomaly when the Democrats brought us the KKK, slavery, Jim Crow laws, and the welfare system, and yet 95% of black people in this country are voting Democrat. How? I do not understand this. When Charlie and I met, it really was, we feel like it was just a bigger force that was pulling us together, because I saw what he was doing and I said, this is amazing and it is so necessary, but there's a piece of this puzzle that's missing. He's mobilizing students, and that's amazing because they need to know that there are different ideas and there are diverse ideas, and they need a home to understand that it's okay to speak out. But what about black people in this country? What is going on with black people in this country? And Charlie said, literally in 2.5 minutes, sit down right here. I'm going to hire you. I want you to sit down right here. Don't move. I'm going to get you a contract. He took out his phone like this, and he said, all right, I'm going to give you this, I'm going to give you that, and I need you to sign it back to me. And within 2.5 minutes, the deal was done, and I joined Turning Point USA.
It was an easy sell, I'll tell you what.
So here's the thing. Black people in this country, we're not ignorant. As much as you think it is that we are just blindly following Democratic leaders, what's really happened is a mass system of propaganda. Okay, I was on the left. I don't know if Charlie has told you guys that, but I used to be on the left. I grew up, obviously, in an entirely Democratic household. And the truth is that the left has extended into our media, our academia, and most importantly, believe it or not, Hollywood and culture. That is the #1 thing that they have won over, and that makes a big difference. It starts with LBJ and his Great Society Act, which essentially, Charlie talked about that, so I won't go on, but talk about creating a system of government dependency. Talk about the welfare system, okay? That is the new form of slavery, and it is so important for black people to understand that. I grew up in an impoverished home. My mother is still on welfare. My entire family is on welfare, and they don't understand why welfare is fundamentally wrong and why it enslaves them and never allows black people to get to the next step. They're being completely tantalized right now. So what do? How do we re-educate them? When LBJ understood, all he had to do was break down the black family, okay? That is the #1 thing that you have to do if you want to control anybody, is to break down the fundamental family structure, and then everything else becomes a free-for-all. When he started incentivizing women, okay, if you guys don't know this, the single motherhood rate in black community has gone from 20% in the 1960s to 71% today. Black people are doing worse today than they were 60 years ago. And there's no chance you can find me a single person that will tell you that America is a more racist country today than it was back then. So what happened? Government dependence is what happened. Black people lost their self-confidence. That is what we are seeing happening on student campuses, okay? They're fundamentally telling people that the government is God, okay? The government is now your God. Don't worry about your family. Don't believe in structure, right? They don't want you to believe in God or anything else. They want you to believe in the government, and that is what we are up against. But that's the bad news, okay? The good news is that 95% of black people are voting Democrat. In business, that's great. That means 95% of people don't have our product, okay? So Charlie and I are so optimistic, okay? When we go, it's true, right? It's a great thing. So we are so optimistic. So what I tell Charlie is, I grew up in these households. It's not that they're willfully ignorant. We have never been presented with a different form of ideas. In the same way on college campuses, they said it couldn't be done, and then Charlie Kirk did it, right? And all that was happening was they had never been presented with a different set of ideas. No one ever got up there and said, big gov sucks, right? And they said, oh, I've never seen that idea. And they said, actually, that kind of makes sense. Big gov does kind of suck, you know? Capitalism is great. These very easy ideas have never been sold to them. So what I'm selling to the black community is, you actually don't need to depend on anybody but yourselves, right? You can do it without the government. You do not need to listen to Jay-Z and Beyonce. They are not the great philosophers of our time, right? I mean, she makes good music. She makes good music. I like her single ladies hit, okay? But she knows very little, or she knows a lot, because like Charlie says, I believe that it's evil, and I believe they know what they're doing, and we're up against the globalists in this moment, and they use Hollywood as a tool to descend upon people that don't have family structures, and so they start to look to Hollywood for mom and dad, for these ideas. They've gravitated towards culture, towards hip-hop, towards music, to tell them what they should be doing in life, and fundamentally harmed our communities. So here's what we're going to do, right? And this is a plan. This is not a suggestion. Charlie and I are going to crack the black vote. It's, right? We're going to give the black community new leaders, which is what they have been desperate for. You have no idea, okay? I've seen it happening in my inbox. We started from a place where, you know, when I first made a couple of videos, I was getting, you're a coon, you're an Uncle Tom, which Uncle Tom is great because the thing is, none of them read the book. Nobody knows that in that novel, Uncle Tom was the hero, right? That's the thing, the left does not read, okay, whatsoever. So I'm like, Uncle Tom, okay, I'll take it. But what we're seeing now is it's changed and it's shifted, and the focus now in my inbox is, you're right? Why are we subscribing to the same thing that our parents subscribe to when they're all impoverished? Why would I do what my mother did when my mother is on welfare? That doesn't make sense. Why don't I, and I think that there was a great guy who said this, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but he said, what do you have to lose?
What do you have to lose, folks?
Right?
What do you have to lose, right?
And the answer is the black community has absolutely nothing to lose and everything to gain by trying something different. I am that something different that they're going to try, okay? I see this as a dominoes game. There are a bunch of dominoes on the table, and I'm just gonna knock that first one over. And then we're gonna see what happens. It's going to be a movement, because the easiest sell to somebody is, I believe in you, you can do it. You're not a loser, you do not need the government, you do not need handouts. All you need is yourself and your self-confidence, and that is what we are selling every single day. So I am in the process of writing a book, which we are super excited about. We've secured the domain name. We try not to talk about it too much because we're waiting on the trademark to come through, but we will tell this room today that we are launching what is called Blexit, the black exit from the Democratic Party.
Is that not great? I mean, that's...
Next year, I want everybody here to be wearing Blexit t-shirts. We're going to have swag. We're going to have rallies. We're going to have black people that are just saying, you know what, we're done with this. We are done being sold the narrative that we are victims, because we are not victims. We are absolutely not victims. But we have been victimized. We have been victimized by Democratic policies, okay? So we couldn't be more excited about Blexit. It's the greatest thing, and the book that I will be writing will be entitled Blexit, My Personal Escape from the Democratic Plantation. If anybody would like to follow me off.
And look, I do a lot of speaking on college campuses, and the number one thing I hear is, Charlie, you're a cisgender, white, Christian, privileged male. You can't possibly be talking to us. Yeah, cisgender is the new one all of a sudden, since like cisgender versus non-cisgender is somehow privileged. And so I'll say a line, I'll say a sentence saying, socialism is the biggest killer of humanity the last 100 years, and they say that to me. And then Candace goes up and says that. She says, haha, I win the oppression Olympics. I'm a black woman. You can't say that to me. Yeah. And then all of a sudden it becomes more true. It's using identity politics.
Right. We've learned that the only way to defeat them is to use identity politics against itself. So they have created this system where, you know, like Charlie talks about the oppression Olympics, where the best thing you can be right now, the most oppressed person, is a black woman, right? So there you go. So now what happens when a black woman comes up and starts saying things that make sense? They're going to have to combat me with logic and the truth, and they're incapable of logic or the truth. So we get to watch them just turn into a puddle on the floor.
We saw it the other day. You were on Fox. It was unbelievable. She was up against Jamu Green, who is like the senior advisor for Hillary Clinton, who's an impressively stupid individual.
She really is impressively stupid. That's exactly right.
And so Candace was going one-on-one. They were talking about the black vote. And Candace said, how on earth could you support Democrat policies that have kept our communities poor? We're doing worse over the last 60 years that we keep on voting for Democrats. And she said, oh, that's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous. And
that's
time
ridiculous.
And time again, because they don't understand, they don't have facts or logic or history or perspective. And here's this beautiful, articulate, energetic black woman who's going to bring truth to power. I might go into early retirement, folks, and just hand over the whole thing right here. I mean, seriously. It's unbelievable.
Look, it is... Beyond a shadow of a doubt, as dark as these times feel, I have to tell you, you have to be excited. We are so excited. I jump out of bed every day with so much energy, you guys, because we are about to change the course of history. Like that, I mean, what is more exciting than that? What is going to be more exciting? What is going to be more exciting in 2020 than watching a mass exodus of black people from the Democratic Party? I mean...
And by the way, if we only win 12% of the black vote in Ohio,
they're done.
The whole game is done.
They're
folks.
done.
If we win 13% in Florida, Pennsylvania, the whole map demographically changes tremendously. So if you were a business mind, you say, hold on a second, where's the biggest potential? How about the communities that are doing the worst under the current political monopoly that keep on voting for them? And that's the Democrat Party with African Americans.
It is.
And we see this is the chance to totally do a sea change for the next generation.
Right, and I say, yeah, you're exactly right. You're exactly right. And I say, you know, if we want to win this war, we have to free the slaves. And the people that have been enslaved the most by Democratic parties are African Americans, okay? It's the truth.
Right. And it's by no coincidence that the poorest, most murderous, most corrupt cities are all run by Democrats, whether it be Oakland, Los Angeles, Detroit, Philadelphia, Chicago. They're all run by Democrats. In fact, they have perpetual political monopolies of cities that have homicide rates that are tenfold that of its sister cities, that are completely and totally bankrupt. And by the way, one of the greatest issues that we need to sell here in California, that Candace is a champion of, that politically is a winner and it's also a winner policy-wise, when Candace is going to go to the south side of Chicago or go to Detroit, she's going to look black mothers in the face. She's going to say, we are going to allow your kid to go to a school that the teacher unions are not going to allow you to go to. School choice is going to win these elections like you wouldn't believe. And the Democrats have an impossibility to support school choice. They can't. Politically, they can't because they're bought by the teacher unions. That's one of the huge ways we're going to win the black vote, and Candace has articulated that so
Absolutely.
well.
Absolutely. Yeah. So what I'm observing happening, what I say all the time, is that what is happening right now in the black community is very real. There's a split happening, almost a civil war within our own community. And there are those with victim mentality and those with victor mentality. I am leading those with victor mentality, who understand that there is something more for them and that America is, in fact, the greatest country on earth. I really, truly believe that. Yeah.
So folks, the organization's Turning Point USA, Margot, Debbie, Kent, we have some amazing friends here in this room. Chapters all across the great state of California. We'll be speaking at Berkeley on
Take
April 17th.
back Berkeley. So exciting.
So get up the riot gear, UCLA on April 18th. So right into the belly of the beast, folks. By the way, when we first started this organization, when I first met Candace, the reason I hired Candace, I said, tell me your philosophy. She leaned in and she said, I want to fight. I said, this is the type of person I want to be around. Because I am so sick and tired of people that just like, well, we can't go to these campuses because it's too controversial. We are going to lean in, folks, and we are going to win the students over that are sick and tired of this communist, leftist totalitarianism. We are going to go where they say conservatives are not welcome. We're going to win the debate. We're going to win the war. And I'll tell you what, I'll close with this. I'm such a believer in Candace, and if the 20th century taught us one thing, through the horror, through the slaughter, through the genocide, through the wars, the one thing it taught us is a single individual, one person, can change the course of history. Whether it be Gandhi, Winston Churchill, Ronald Reagan, Dwight D. Eisenhower, Margaret Thatcher. And I believe you're looking at one of the people that 50 years from now is going to be one of those people that will turn around. Thank you guys so much. With your help, we're going to win. Thank you.